Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Last session with us before the long weekend on Monday. Welcome, Patrick. Welcome, Steve. Today, we are going to do a bar-to-bar analysis. So we're going to look at the price action for the past day. Steve is going to show us some of his trades of today, some of his analysis. So it will be a very, very good one. As we start, as always, please let us know if you can hear us, if you can see our screen. And let's just show a quick disclaimer for a few seconds. All right, welcome. So, Steve, the show is on you today.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks, Fabio. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, everyone, just quick intro. My name is Steve, and yeah, I lead the trading floor with Patrick for MentorQ, where we post our analysis, our trades, a little bit of mindset and statistics for everyone. Just motivate everyone and just give a glimpse how to professionally manage their portfolio when trading these assets, and also, of course, most importantly, how we use the data that's offered on MentorQ. So yeah, I'm always here every day helping the people. Same with Patrick. So thanks again, Fabio, and yeah, let me know when we're ready to go. I can
We're
just
ready.
give you how my mindset was. So here I'm spying QQQ, two major assets that I'm always trading, as well as the Dow Jones. But we'll just keep it clean today and just look at these two assets. So for me, the clearest levels that got printed were the ETFs. Sometimes I post also the ES levels, the futures levels as well, ES and Q, as well as the CFT levels on SPX and NDX. But for today, for me, especially for my mindset, considering it's Friday leading into the long weekend, it's gonna be a lower amount of volume. SPY and QQQ, simple and easy, give me the best levels. What's the first thing I always look at or do? Sorry, on my pre-market analysis, I label out all the levels. See where the recalculation has happened for the new day. Watch where price is like entering into, and just kind of give us a perspective of potential supply and demand or support resistance areas for the day. And yeah, so that's the first thing I do. And clearly, we can just map it out with the levels. Just quick, and like also, it's good to like Patrick said before, is look back and see how price reacted from these levels in the past as well. And I can kind of give you some demand and supply ideas as well. So quickly just map out the levels here. We have the blind spot 2 acting as support, pre-market on the SPY at the 559, at the 562 to about 563. We have the 1-day max with blind spot 4, nice little confluence there. So yeah, we like to map out the exposure mixed in with our confluences, and then the QQQ, or this is pre-market. Yeah, so on the rejection from yesterday, we have clearly like high exposure level at the 476 acting as resistance pre-market, and then resistance turn into support at the 572. So yeah, label these out. First thing I always do. So in the Q is we have the blind spot 4, the 1-day max, as well as a high volume trigger zone. Perfect. 473 in the QQQ. Okay, so where was price headed? So second thing I always look at, where is price pre-market and what's the volatility? Price was trending in this area, so this is the midpoint. Whenever price is trending, for me, when I see this pre-market, it's the best thing ever. I don't have to rush into any trades. I can relax and wait for New York open. Clearly in the 50% area, both on the NASDAQ and the S&P. What do? We relax. Because one of the biggest mistakes traders do is they enter when there's no volatility, when it's very unknown where the market's going to move once that volatility kicks in. Okay, so that's what you want, because it's easier to also measure your risk once you get that measured volatility, so that you can calculate back into your percentage form or a dollar form, right? So what was price doing? Trending. 50%, right in between the levels, support, resistance, supply, demand. Same on the NASDAQ. So what do? We wait. and wait for the volatility to kick in. Once the volatility kicked in, what is it? What happened with the price? Nasdaq was stronger than S&P and started loading into this 476 area. We zoom out, and the 476 was clearly a high level supply, and it's an area where we sold off yesterday. So what do? We wait, and we look at volume, and we see how he reacts, right? We don't blindly start entering a short at this area because it can easily start squeezing above, keep squeezing. We don't know exactly how the market makers are hedging or the institutions at this level. We just be patient, see how it hit, watch what the S&P is doing. Okay, start getting some rejection, and then you kind of form an idea. So that's why I said a lot of times this is my favorite day, because it's clearly going to be a range-bound day. If price is not already squeezing pre-market, because if, let's say, price is already squeezing pre-market, selling above this area, that gives you another idea. But because it wasn't squeezing, and it was just relatively balanced, there's an equilibrium, we just wait, whether top side or upside, and place a trade idea there. So as you guys see, on MentorQ, I posted my trades, my accountability, my P&L. I would quickly exit that position as well right after we got the sell-off, right into the next zone, which is a nice supply zone at the 472 as well as the 559 SPY area. Of course, you could try these areas and have an idea candlesticks alone, but that with these levels, with MentorQ provides us, you get that extra confirmation. So the trade played out perfectly, and I was done for the day. Right, so there was no need to look for a long or look for a rebound, because this was clearly an area where traders could have got chopped out. No clear direction, because right below we had the nice call resistance 0 TT where the SPY came into, right, Fabio? And then look here, we just kind of bounced from these areas, and then eventually we soared higher later after lunchtime into post market. But whatever happens during lunchtime, after lunchtime New York, I have no feeling for it, because I just look for the one clear trade, one clear momentum impulse, and that's how I close out my day. So, yeah. What do you think, Patrick? Easy and simple?
Yes. Nice. I like it.
Yeah, easy and simple, right? We just clearly label the levels where it gives us kind of more spread, more room to run, because we don't like to trade around levels of, let's say, we had a bunch of confluences, as well as maybe an HVL zone here. Then price is going to be a lot more choppy. You're not going to have as clear of a direction. But because SPY and QQQ gave us the clear path, this is what I traded. And what did I do? I was patient. Waited for the volatility to kick in, either go to the downside or the upside, and then create a bias from there. Wait for an extra confirmation. One of my confluences. You can also use the VIX as well. NVIDIA, since NVIDIA has had heavy weight lately because of earnings. And that's it. And that's how, that's kind of part of my checklist, part of my plan. And one of my major checklists that I always highlight is volatility. If there's no volatility in the market, I stay away. There's no point, because you can never accurately measure your risk management properly. So I think that's one of the main things there is volatility. Volatility, volatility, volatility. We always speak about this, because then you don't have a clue where to measure your risk, where to put your stop loss, and that's it.
And that's a good point. Maybe Fabio, you can take a little 2-minute deep dive. How the people can see if there's enough volatility when they use our MentorQ tool. So what they can use to see how much volatility could be possible in the market, how much we can expect it.
Sure. So let me go into the bot 1 second. All right. All right. So let's go into the bot. Let's go here. So the first thing you want to monitor is when you come into the membership, you have access to the stock channel here. You can also request the data from the bot. We're going to show you in a second. But the first step you want to look at is the liquidity snapshot. So you want to see here, for example, you have access to the implied volatility of the assets. So in this case, we are looking at QQQ. So you have the implied volatility, you have the historical volatility, you also have the gamma condition. So knowing basically if the market is in positive gamma or negative gamma will allow you to see if you can expect volatility or less volatility. So we know that negative gamma typically brings more volatility compared to positive gamma. So looking at the gamma condition here, very important. Looking at the implied volatility here, very important. Looking at the IV rank, very important. We can then go into the chart and we can look at the main chart, and we can see, for example, the implied volatility, which is the red line here, versus the historical volatility. So always look at volatility as it's kind of like an elastic band where implied volatility and historical volatility tend to come together all the time. So we see like it's kind of like a rubber band that is like moving and coming together. So looking at, for example, the implied volatility here versus the historical is very helpful. And it can give you an idea of like, is the asset in low volatility environment or in a high volatility environment. And then also monitoring our levels. So I think if we look at our gamma levels and we put this in the chart, the levels that you want to monitor is the high vol level, which is kind of like the shift in gamma regime, kind of like it dictates where we are going to start to see the shift. So that means that above or below this level, there could be an increase in volatility. So it's another tool that you can use to monitor.
Yep, that's amazing. And also, Steve, you're unmounted, so you must unmount yourself, please. And also, you're looking for the VIX, yeah, correctly?
Yeah, always looking at the VIX, seeing how it's reacting, seeing if it's starting to move at the same time as, let's say, the price starts to move. If we see like a major shift in volatility in indices, but VIX is not really moving, that could be a sign as well, where maybe the time isn't right yet, whether to gauge whether it's fearful or there's more demand on the hedging side on VIX. So yeah, that's one of the main confluences we always use is the VIX. It doesn't always align perfectly, but we found in the first few hours of New York, it definitely aligns a lot better as a hedge. Later in the market in the afternoon, with the way VIX is repositioning, I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't advise on that. But within the first few hours, definitely a good indicator here. So yeah, like I always map out the support resistance as well as the of course, like the mental Q levels, I plot on as well, just to see more confluence where it's heading. Yeah, and just because like VIX breaks to the downside, breaks the support, resistance area, doesn't mean that the indices are going to fly above and start squeezing. But it's also good to make note of, if VIX is starting to break its support and not and won't recover, then there could be a possible squeeze in the future. But because we had VIX kind of like come down this area, consolidate, and start moving higher, this is probably the perfect time. Not perfect time, but an interesting time to start looking towards a short. Because yeah, once VIX started like breaking higher, had a little fake out, that's probably around the same time we started to get a flush, and when like more supply was entering the market and it needed to kind of go down to where there's strong demand. Where was the next strong level of demand? The 472, 473, and 559 area, right where we had the blind spots as well as the trigger zone that Fabio was talking about. So not only did we have the trigger zone at 0 TTE, but we also had like the high volume level, like one of the main ones, as well as 0 DT. We don't always have it line up exactly like this, especially with the blind spot one, Patrick. Like we had just crazy amount of demand in this area. And if you zoom out the left as well, it just kind of matches up with like the other levels too.
Yeah. So what we really need, Steve, and what is really helpful to understand is like we want to see that the blind spots supporting the gamma levels. So no matter if this is blind spot 1, blind spot 10, or call the number whatever you want, but we want to see like exactly what we were seeing on QQQ, that blind spot 1 is supporting the high wall and high wall 0 DTE, and blind spot 4 is supporting the other gamma level above. And we see this on the SPY also. The blind spot 4 is supporting the one-day max. Everyone, when we see something like this, we know exactly that we have a really strong support and resistance area. And this is something what we should map out, exactly what was Steve doing based on the roadmap principle. And then you know exactly what strong areas you have on your chart. and look always for the strong areas where blind spots supporting the gamma levels. And yeah, and if you're looking for maybe QQQ, looking also for the SPY. So we have exactly the picture what we have today. So on the QQQ, we have above 1-day max supporting BL4, but on the QQQ, we have a different picture. We see now high wall 0 DTE support BL1, and BL4 is supporting the gamma level above. So this is what we call classic correlation. So, and this is something why you should looking into booth tickers, especially if you trade the futures. Look to the SPY, look to the QQQ, and in best case, have also the VIX on your chart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like this also is going to quickly say, it also helps you to not overtrade in this kind of, you could also map this out as, let's say, the no trade zone, right? Why should we enter here in between when the probability is so low, whether we go long or short? Why not wait and put an alert on both ends, especially when we're trending midpoint pre-market? This is why I said this is my favorite time. Let the market come to you. Patrick says the same thing. Set your alerts there and come back to your computer, so you don't start formulating a different, an idea or a strategy that's not part of your checklist or your own strategy, because everyone has their own strategy, everyone has their own ideas. But one way or one piece of advice I can always give is to set alert in these levels. Once it hits, then create a bias, then create a setup. Right? We don't always get this pre-market. A lot of times we're hovering above or below or right on a level, leading into New York or leading into like a strong economic event as well. But when we get days like this, it's right when there's equilibrium where the supply and demand is the same, it's the best time to be patient. And then I was labeling that in the community, and I kept putting on patience, patience, patience. And I hope everyone kind of followed that. And that's the best piece of advice I can give. We don't give signals here. We just kind of advise how to manage your portfolio. Because at the end of the day, we're not traders, we're managers, whether it's your personal account or funded account or whatever it is. So it's important to just always assess your risk properly. And then bring these charts and kind of focus on the real time and not focus so much in the past, and see what price is going to do and how it's going to react.
Yeah. And also, I think when we was trading together, then we're looking also for our watch list. Yeah, so it's really important to have the watch list, have the major ones on your side, that you have an idea what's going on in the market. To see if someone from the Magnificent Seven is freaking out. Maybe Nvidia is up, I don't know, 10%. The other ones is everything is now 1% up, and then you see exactly, okay, Nvidia is now the driver. So then you're looking also to Nvidia. Which areas are now Nvidia? For example, what gamma levels are important for Nvidia? Then you set your alerts so that okay, if we reach this level, okay, I have to be also careful with my position, for example, in the QQQ, or for example, in the NQ. So find out also who is the big one, who freaks out at the moment. Is there something? And then follow this. And I can remember, Steve, it was many times where we was wondering, shit, what's happened in the market? And then we was looking into the watch list and seeing, holy shit, Nvidia again. He goes crazy. Yeah.
And the perfect example is what happened yesterday, right? Where market pumped, it was consolidating top of the range. Sure, like a lot of people are probably calling a squeeze higher. And what was Nvidia doing? Making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And then Nvidia started kind of like falling. Nvidia was the only one that was in the red yesterday. Only one in the red. All the other stocks were kind of consolidating, looking strong, looking the same as Indies, but like Nvidia was that ugly sibling, making lower highs, starting to sell off, and then eventually we had that sell off yesterday. Of course, we posted in the community as well. And then yesterday was a perfect example, especially after like earnings, because whenever it's an earnings review and post earnings, these single stocks definitely have more influence than others when you're looking at indices themselves. So I was watching Nvidia the whole time yesterday, Patrick, the whole time, and then eventually we got that sell off. Like it was.
And how we can be expect about this, Fabio, to check out the Magnificent Seven. We go in our liquid snapshot. We tip ein in the boot really quickly. Boom, Apple. Let's look into this. How much is the expected move? 2%. Okay. Then we go into Tesla, looking in how big is the expected move, 3% maybe, okay. And then we see someone like, for example, Nvidia, 6%, and then we think like, okay, we know exactly what we have to looking for today, so we must be prepared for Nvidia.
Yeah.
Boom. So this is something what is really powerful. We get not surprised on our watch list because we know before exactly what's going on. We see here Nvidia 3% expected move. Boom. So and then we're looking into the other Meta expected move 1.8%. So Meta will be not the big one today. We can forget Meta. Amazon one also forget it. Forget it. Google.
Forget it. Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Apple. Yeah. Yeah, okay, forget it. So we know exactly Nvidia is the one where we have to be careful. So, and the simple and easiest stuff is like you check first the Magnificent Seven. Go to the mentor queue, look to the liquid snapshot, look into everything, and then if you find the big one with the biggest move, go into your trading view, Sierra chart, MetaTrader, go to your Ninja Trader, set your alerts based on the levels from NVIDIA that you get prepared if we touch some magic level, if we touch one-day max, if we touch a call resistance, if we touch a 0 DTE level, so that you get the notification, so that you know, okay, now something could be happen in the market because NVIDIA is doing something. And NVIDIA is the leader of the market because it was checking this before based on a one-day minimum and maximum move. So that will be the expected move.
Yeah.
Simple and easy, and it needs only 1 minute, and you know it exactly. The
Yeah.
other ones who have no mentor queue, what they are doing, they're watching all the time the watch list and get surprised. Why this has happened? But we get prepared. We're taking a look into this. It needs only 2 minutes, boom, and we get it.
Yeah.
Simple and easy, my friends.
I'm
a lazy trader.
Simple and easy, but it's a consistency that everyone needs to work on, Patrick. That's the thing, because maybe 4 days out of 5, they plan, they do their checklist, they put the levels, they prepare. But that 5th day that they don't, that's the day a lot of times they blow up and they can't come back next week. So think about it. Always look into the future and never put yourself at risk. If you're not prepared, especially if it's a Friday, don't trade. That's it. Maybe just watch the market. But if you didn't have your levels, you didn't have your data, or you're not looking at the live volume, or the confluences, like they were talking about the liquidity and the 1-day min, 1-day max, then just observe. Don't be risking your money. Don't.
Yeah, and there's something what I would give this as advice. So not financial advice, friendly advice. Can you go please to the VIX, Fabio? Here we go. Can you go please in the settings? No, in the chart settings.
Yeah, let me just get the level.
Okay, so it could be that we have the new levels. Yeah.
Not yet.
No, not yet. I don't think so.
Not yet. And then I share something for you. Oh, but I think you have this already on your chart. Click on the beautiful American flag. But no. On the chart you have in the chart the American flag, where the time is.
This one.
Yes.
Oh, the news.
And if you click on this, you get prepared for the news. So you can go in your settings in Trading View, and then if you see something like this, so go in the settings. Go please in the chart settings. Double click in the chart. Yeah, and then go to events. Here we go, and then you have the economic events, only future events, and you click on also on the breaks, event breaks. Make this on white. Here we go, and boom, you will not miss this anymore. So the key event. So you have this directly on your chart. So this is the easiest one what you can do. You get prepared, you know exactly what's going on, and then you check every day the liquid snapshot, and you get prepared.
Yeah.
Simple and
That's
easy.
fun. Yeah. I remember we were always looking for the vertical line. Remember, Patrick? I remember we're like, man, we have to find a tool to kind of better prepare ourselves. Because there was a few times, Fabio, that we missed an event because, you know, we were focusing on other things or confluences, and all of a sudden that 1 hour close comes and it was like a crazy PMI or Michigan news, and we completely missed it. We're like, no, they're like, can't do this anymore. We have to find an indicator. And now TradingView has it. I don't know if they had it before. I'm pretty sure they had it before.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but Steve, most of the time we get not surprised on the main events because we was prepared for this. We get always surprised on
the smaller
some,
ones, yeah.
Yeah, on auctions or something like
The bill
this.
auctions, yeah.
Of the bill auctions. So,
No, it's the bill auction. Yeah.
so then we get this crazy candle. We was thinking like, what's going on? And then, do you remember? I never forget this. There's a story. Yeah, we have two stories, but I share only one. So I was shorting the market like crazy. This was a nice opportunity. It was the short was valid, I think, 10 minutes before the close, and I short. And then, lucky enough, I have always my rule. I close any positions when the stock market is closed, and I closed it with the bell. And after the bell, 1 second later, there was Amazon earnings or something like this, and we get a huge candle to the upside. Do you remember? And I was so lucky that it was also. I think it was also short, and we were saying, "Oh." 1 second later, and then we get a huge drawdown.
No, it's crazy.
So that is also where you have to prepare for. When are the earnings? When are the earnings calls? So is this something what is directly after the bell, so that you close the position before the earnings, that you don't get any surprise, especially if you're a futures trader?
Yeah. All right, we have a few minutes left. Couple of questions. Where do you get data for the blind spots? The blind spots, you can find them within our futures trading room. They are posted there every morning. You can get them from here and upload them to TradingView. Soon they will be also on the bot, so you'll be able to access them via the bot directly on the server. So very soon. And then this is a good question, Baker. We actually had a meeting this morning to talk about this, so we'll keep you guys posted. We're working on a new model about seasonality, and definitely, but it's not going to be immediate, but we are working on it. All right. So I think we have 3 minutes left. First of all, any question, guys, as always, send them over. You can find us at mentorq.com. And again, this weekend is Labor Day weekend. So if you guys want to join us, join our membership, sign up, and please use the coupon code LIVE25 and you get 25% off. And we hope to see you in Discord. Patrick and Steve are there every morning. We also have other traders, other strategies, great community. Thousands of users are active every day, so it's great. And yeah, anything to add, Patrick, Steve?
Yes, 100%. I have something to add. So you were saying we have 3 minutes. So that means we can ask 3 questions, and Steve can answer with 1 minute. So
okay.
Question number 1, Steve. So what was the biggest learning in this week for you?
Biggest learning. Ooh. Well, this is probably, you know, because I showed the trade that I had yesterday, and it was definitely one that I held on for a little, I believe a little too long, especially before one of my rules, never to break a rule, I think, because if you break a rule, you have headache, you have anxiety, you have stress. Even though it was a nice profit and it worked out, but I held my trade a little longer than I anticipated, longer than New York lunchtime. And for me, not to break the rule, because if you break the rule, you give yourself some pain. So that was one of my lessons. Close it early if I'm in profit. There's another opportunity. I could always re-enter. But yeah, the one rule, even though it's nice profit end of the day, but the one thing I can never get back is time and my freedom, because that was taken away from me, and I didn't follow my rules on the exiting plan. That's why it was taken away from me. So yeah, that was definitely one. That was the one big one, Patrick.
Okay, second question from 3. How you make sure that this will be maybe not happened very soon?
Well, because now I have that memory. Now that I have that fresh memory, I always know myself to be like consistent. That's how I was able to always get ahead and have my edge. Possibly tell my wife. My wife will make sure if I'm in my office for too long, then that could be another indicator. Or what I could also do, I could pre-program. The wife is the best always. But one thing I could also do is I could pre-program my computer or my Google, where if I'm on my broker for a certain amount of time, it will close me out. So I think that's a good thing I can do. You could always pre-program your Chrome or your Mozilla, where if you're in a certain website or if I'm even on my broker for X amount of time, it's automatically going to close me out. So I think that's another good way to do it, to not overtrade, is knowing that, hey, your time clock, you have 5 minutes left, and to know you have that pressure to close it out. So I think that's a big way to help out there.
Okay, you are lucky. Now the last question is coming.
Okay.
What is the question for me?
For you?
Oh, how do you feel being retired, Patrick?
Well, again,
yes.
What do you mean?
How do you feel being a retired trader?
Yes. Okay. So summarize your week now that you're retired comparatively to your days when you used to trade. So kind of compare the weeks now that you're retired. How do you feel?
I feel good. So I'm setting all week targets for me, goals. So what are my goals for this week? So how I want to grow as a person. So I'm looking into more coaching sessions with other mentors who mentor me. So I have more time for this, that I can grow as personality, learn in different businesses, some new stuff to understand something more and other decisions. And then also have a goal list. So my goal this week was to show up 2 times this week to help you with the mentor queue, how you can grow mentor queue. And also I measure my success on how we see this in the community when people posting member success stories. So is there a success? Are they good? Did they need more support or something like this? And I see this week was perfect. So this is something what is new for me as a trader. I have no goal in case like this, a weekly goal. I was going from day to day, but now something what has changed, have weekly goals. How I can grow as personality, how I can grow my business, what is no more trading, can I looking for other business stuff, how I can become active as investor, how I can manage more my cash flow, can I reinvest some money, and all this stuff. And more time for family and kids, for sure.
That's great.
So
perfect. I like it. Yeah. And family comes first, like always. Family. Yeah. We do this for the freedom of our family. That's why I do it, right? Because if before my corporate job, I'd be working 10, 12 hours. So now that I'm able to create this lifestyle around me, I only have to work in the mornings, which is nice. And then I have that freedom to enjoy with whoever's around me. So what do you think? What do you think, Fabio? That's what trading should give you.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like freedom is the most important. And also for me, it's flexibility, right? Being able to not having to check in at a certain time. So I was in the corporate ladder too, and obviously having the freedom to be wherever you are, whenever you need to be, I think it's key. So absolutely.
Okay, Fabio, what was your learning for this week? So what you was learning from our community, what you was learning from the trading week, what you was learning from the economic week?
For me, the biggest learning is basically channeling user feedback into our product roadmap. So we had a lot of interesting conversation with our development team. We are preparing for the next phase. We're preparing for 2021. So we are very excited. And the main input for me, it's like what's happening in the community, right? What do the user want? How do the user use the data? How do they use the platform? What do they want to use it with? How do they want to integrate the data into their workflow? So I think for me, it's been really, we had a chat with various different users, feedback, workshops, and now we're channeling this through to our product roadmap. So very excited about that.
Yeah, and there was also some, you asked in the community about European futures. Yeah, so what are the most traded European futures based on our community? So maybe you can give us some overview. What would be happen? Why you was asking the question?
Yeah, so we're always looking at, so as we end the year, so we're preparing our planning for 2025. So we are also looking at data that we need for next year. So basically, we want to always increase our coverage, increase our data sets. And one of the gaps that we want to fill potentially in 2025 is helping our European users fulfilling their data needs, because obviously we have a great coverage on the American market, but there's a lot of our customers that are trading futures in Europe. So we're trying to figure out the feasibility, how we can get that data, and how we can potentially provide a gap for that type of customer. So again, yeah, listening to our customers and trying to channel into our roadmap and trying to access the data, trying to provide a game-changing tool that is not available right now.
Yes. And for everyone who was loving the conversation with Steve, so Steve will be there on Tuesday with me together. So everyone knows that me and Steve was trading long time together. So this will be a trader buddy session. So maybe I will take a trade, but I don't think so. But when we was but everyone knows, so with a trading buddy, that's the best work. So maybe when Steve is trading, of course, we give no trading signals. We speak about only what we see, how we get prepared, what we think, what is in our mind. You can look over our shoulders, and you can also see how me and Steve are working together. So I shut out something to Steve. Steve is shutting out something to me. We think about this for a few seconds, and then maybe this is very helpful for you, how we speak, how professional traders speak together when they work together. And one of the best advices, if you go now into the weekend, go in our community and look for a trade buddy. Look for someone who holds you accountability. Look for someone who you can maybe trade with. Look someone who can maybe help you in your trading. And also take a look in our academy. We have so many nice courses. We help you with educational content. We have many things. But also, if you're now on YouTube, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and be aware when we have very soon posted our new lives for the next week.
Yeah, and you can watch all our past events for this week right here under live. We had some very good one with Steve and Patrick on NVIDIA the other day, futures, roadmap. Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting videos here that you can watch. It's all available on YouTube. So
yes. So for this reason, happy weekend.
Happy weekend, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Patrick. And see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.